Alrighty, welcome to second session here in the East Wing for the Education Summit. Hope you're having a good start to the day this morning, and a great session we've got lined up for you here. My name is Gene Blackley, and I'm hosting this room today, and some of you might recognise me from 21st century videos or seminars if you've been to them in the past, talking about property investment and other investment strategies. I'm delighted to be here today as a private investor. Love being in this environment, and Jamie asked me to come along and host the room. And part of the joy of being here is because of the array of speakers that we have and the great insights that are here for all of us to enjoy that are going to be shared with us. And that's certainly the case with our next speaker, Aaron Sansoi, who's often referred to as the sales king. This is a man who's built a career on improving sales performance, taking small, large, or even just individual sales teams to a whole new level of performance. And Aaron is one of the senior executives of 21st Century Education, but he also has an organisation called Coach Me that provides coaching services specially designed for small and medium-sized businesses. He's been producing outstanding results, but today what he's here to focus on is about lifting sales performance. So whether you have a sales team, or you're a principal of your own business, or you're going to start a business, today is about giving you insights into lifting sales performance to a whole different level. Because let's face it, obviously it's an opportunity to transform your business performance. The greatest success you can have in the shortest period of time is improving sales performance. So Aaron has years of experience in this area and a very exciting and engaging speaker. I think you're going to enjoy what he's got to say today. But before we see Aaron, let's just take a look at this opening sequence.
Welcome to the beginning of the sales revolution. You are about to hear from one of the leading sales experts this country has to offer. With success stories in over 4 continents and at the sales and coaching forefront for over a decade, Aaron has trained thousands of sales professionals around the world. His training has created tens of millions of dollars. He is the sales educator that every business and sales professional needs. Would you please put your hands together for Aaron Sansoi?
Good morning, guys. How you going? How are we? How are we? How are we? So just so you know, I'm not going to take, laid back, chilling out today. I need some energy because I don't know about you, but I've had 2 coffees, but it's Saturday morning. I thought it was going to be sunny today, but knowing who's from Melbourne? Well, I still don't get it. I was born and bred here, but I do not get that it's 30 degrees one day, and today it's raining. All right, so we've got to get into form, get into its shape really, really quickly today. But before I do that, who was here yesterday? Let me just get a show of hands. Who was here? What a good day, huh? Are your brains overloaded with content? Whose brains hurt? Good, I like it. So yesterday was really, really good. Saw Tim Ferriss, what an amazing guy. Some really great speakers talking about property and talking about trading as well. And today, I'm going to speak to you guys about sales in business. It's a huge passion of mine. But before I do it, let's find out who's in the audience. Business owners and sole traders. Can I get a show of hands? Wow, cool. Sales professionals. Anyone else that calls them something else but is a sales professional? I love those people. I'm a business consultant. I'm a, marketing executive, but I really sell. So one of the things that I do is I'm proud of what I do and I'm proud of what I teach. Sales is a profession. And for those that are in sales and business owners, the first thing I want you to do is actually give yourself a round of applause because we have a hard job. So give yourselves a round of applause. Seriously, 95% of the businesses in Australia are small businesses, right? Who got into small business thinking it was going to be shorter hours? Did you? Shorter hours? Shorter hours? More money? Who said that? It's more hours, right? So what I'm here to talk about is you're going to get a lot of content over these 2 days from some amazing speakers, and you probably already know a fair bit in your businesses about marketing and about online. I'm going to talk about converting because you can have the best marketing plans in the world. You can have the best business plans in the world. But if you really don't know how to convert sales, and you've got to get good at it. Who are the business owners in the room that actually really don't like sales? Hands up. Perfect. And that's okay, and that is perfectly fine. Because even if you don't like sales, you've got to get good at them or else you don't have a business, right? And the sad fact is 1% of all businesses after 10 years survive. How much does that suck? 1% of all businesses in Australia survive after 10 years, right? So everyone's sitting and looking at the person next to them because they might not be here the next time we have a financial education summit, right? Learning about business. So what I want to talk about is some really tangible stuff. I'm not just going to speak about some ideas that I could have done two things today. I could have spoken about some ideas that you can implement into your business to give you a spike in sales, okay? I could have done that. Or I could have talked about, which I'm going to, some things that I can teach you that literally mean that every single contact you have with somebody, you can have a chance of increasing the sales with that person and without your business. Would you prefer that? Hands up. Would you prefer that? Absolutely. So let's get into it today. A couple of things on the screen already. These are the things I'm going to cover off today. I'm going to speak about the changing economy. Has anyone been watching the news lately? What the hell's going on? Right? Houses in America are like $3.50, right? The whole economy's tanked. Something's going on in Europe. Seriously. Everything is going awry at the moment. Now, I'm not an economist. I think Harry Dent's in the other room right now. I'm not an economist, but what I care about is business, and what I care about is how the economy affects my business and our businesses now. So I just want to talk about a couple of small things that you guys need to know as business owners and sales professionals that are going to affect your business. Show of hands the business owners that work in a business that's a discretionary dollar, so something you don't need. If you don't sell bread or milk, put your hand up, basically. So if your business, show of hands, keep them up for a minute. If you have a business that literally is not a necessity, keep your hand up. Look around. Right? Wow. So this is the key thing you need to know. And right, and that's most business, because seriously, who wants a milk bar, right? You don't want a milk bar, right? So it's probably milk bar or anything here. But the thing is, most of what we do is not a necessity. It's add-ons that we do. And a lot of small businesses that I work with, they come from a space of passion. So there might be a plumber that, you know, that's a great plumber and then decides to open up their own plumbing business and is good at what they do, but really doesn't have a huge amount of knowledge when it comes to business. Who has a passion for something and then has grown that into their own business? Show of hands. And that's where it comes from, which is a great space to come from. But with the changing economy, we really, really have to be on our game, don't we? And that's what I want to talk to you about, some real tangible things that you can do. Because the thing about sales is, there's a couple of things you need: a good attitude and work ethic. Don't get me wrong, if you're a bit of a dickhead, then you can't sell, right? I'll be honest with you. But other than that, you can learn sales. It's actually not hard, right? So all the things that come into sales, all the things that you love about, when you deal with somebody, you meet someone, oh, that's a great salesperson, I love if they work for me. All those things that make sure that every time you have an interaction with somebody, all those things can be learnt skills. You don't have to be a born charmer, right? You don't have to be a good-looking woman. You don't have to be a sharp man. You have to just learn the key skills as well. And if you're sitting here going, well, I'm the business owner and I don't really need to know these skills, then you are absolutely going to fail in the next 10 years. Because that's the first thing you need to get good at. I don't care how good you are at tax. I don't care how good you are at marketing. If you are not good at sales, and when I say sales, I don't just mean, hi, can you buy this pen from me? I mean negotiating. Right? You've got to negotiate with people. Some of the best deals I've ever done are joint ventures. Does everyone know what that means? I've gone to another business and said, hey, we share a similar customer base. Do you reckon we could maybe do something together? I like you, you like me. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Is that negotiating? Is that part of sales? Is that something that we can learn? Absolutely it is. So it's not just about the one or two transactions that we do. It's about this. It's about that negotiation that we have to learn as well. Does that make sense? So, my grandma's up there. What I also want to talk about is understanding buyers. When I say to people about sales and I say we've got to learn about sales, the first thing they do, because I do a lot of corporate training all around the world, and I speak to big sales teams, I say, okay, what's the first thing we need to learn about sales? What's the first thing you think I get? Anyone in sales? Put your hand up if you're a sales professional. You should know this. What's the first thing? Relationship, rapport. Everyone agree? Yes? Yes? Wrong. Wrong. There's so much that happens before sales that it's not about, hey mate, how you going? I'm Aaron from blah, blah, blah company. No. So much before that. I've got to learn about buyers, don't I? every one of us in this room is a different sort of personality, aren't we? We're all different. We're all so different. And we've got to learn how to interact, because this interaction, if I get this wrong, if I stuff this up in the first 10 seconds, it's gone. I'm out of here. And I can categorize him into a type of buyer, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. Because these are the things that you have to learn, and you've got to teach your teams to be able to maximize sales, correct? It's not just about, I'm trying to be a best friend with somebody. That's phony, isn't it? You've got to learn that person. You've got to have an interest in them as well. So I'm going to talk to you about that. The other thing I'm going to give you, I didn't want to do this, I'll be honest with you. I didn't want to show you number 3, because it's actually one of the things that I've invented over the last couple of years, and it's one of those aha moments that you get. You know, sometimes you hear something, you're like, oh, I've heard that before. This is one of those things that I hope that you will hear and you go, oh, that's actually really good when it comes to dealing with objections. Because I believe you don't have to just get a truckload of leads into your business every single day to succeed. I don't. I believe you've got to get good at dealing with the people and be real with the people that you have. Not just you as the business owner, but you as the business owner with every one of your staff members. Does that make sense? Who understands me? That makes sense? Who wants to have those real who would rather convert what they have in their business now than spending tens of thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars generating more leads? Hands up. Who reckons they've got enough leads in their business if they got good at converting them to actually have a good sustainable business? Absolutely. So I'm not saying lead generation is wrong, because it's absolutely one of the first things. But you've got to get good at what you do. You have to get good at dealing with every transaction that you have. The next thing I'm going to talk about, the inner game of sales. Can you guys see me at the back all right? Yeah? Is that okay? There's some really short presenters. I'm not one of those. Have you seen Lewis Loutman? The guy's like 8 foot tall. There's some of the small. I'll stand up here if you can see me better. The inner game of sales. What does that mean? Inner game. Have you thought about that before? What is it? What goes on in your head? Who has an ear? No one. No wonder you can't hear me. What goes on between your head as a business owner is one of the first things, and a sales professional, that we need to get good at. Because you guys get battered around like no tomorrow. You guys like prize boxes. You get beaten around so much. And if you don't master the 2 things between here, the 6 inches, if you've got a big head, or 4 inches, if you've got a small head, between your ears, you don't get good at that, not going to happen. So I'm going to give you a little bit about the inner game of sales. And lastly, I'm going to talk about some key points to change your business. Really to change your business, literally. I believe in giving you something that will help you, that you can use all the time. All the time in your business, that will tweak and change it. But before I get into that, let me teach you a little bit more about me. As they said, I'm the CEO and founder of Coach Me. We're a small and medium-sized, we're a company that deals with small and medium-sized businesses and making their sales and their business exceed. That's what we do. We work with them to tweak things around. But what we've done, and what I've done in the last couple of years, is I've really realized that there's a big gap with small and medium-sized businesses when it comes to understanding how to get good at sales. Not how to generate leads, but get good at sales. So we're focused really on helping them convert better with their sales teams as well. So I want to talk about that. But really, where did it begin? Where did it begin? Many, many moons ago. Who comes from a big family? Big family. I came from 7 brothers and sisters. Who has more than 7 brothers and sisters? I'm going to take my hat off to you. No one. Good. So you understand. Good. I was the middle child of 7. Okay? And I don't care what you think, that's where negotiation starts. When you're the middle child and your older brother wants, and he's bigger than me, and he wanted the bigger bunk, right? Why is it that we want the big bunk? Who wants the top bunk when they were a kid? Why do we fight for that? And I used to fight so much for that big bunk. I said, I want that bunk. That's what I want. I used to negotiate with him. I said, I'll make your bed for a month if you give it to me. If you fall off and you're on the bottom bunk, it doesn't hurt. Give me the top bunk, right? You negotiate all the time. Dinner time, I still hate peas. Who hates, well, boys don't like peas. I don't think any boys in this room like peas. I hated peas as a kid, still do. And I had one of those mums, 6 sadistic pleasures. She loved serving me peas. Peas, right? So I used to spend the time, and she had sharp eyes, so I couldn't scoop them off into the dog's mouth. I literally had to sit there and go, okay, to my older sister, listen, you've got chicken. I've got peas. How about we? Switcheroos. She was analytical, right? So she wanted to know, well, Aaron, how many peas am I going to get? What's a transaction here? How much of my chicken do you Are you going to throw in some honey carrots? So literally, this is where it happened, right? This is where negotiations started. Then another little photo up there, this is from the newspaper. A couple of the guys when I was younger. When I knew I wanted to get into business, right, was because I was one of those kids who had a lemonade stand. It's very cliche. But seriously, I don't know what gave me the idea to stand on the side of a street with a lemonade stand, hoping someone would drive past or walk past that wanted lemonade. How niche is that, right? So it didn't work. Next thing I did, do you remember when it was really important, some of the older people don't remember this, really important to have the number of your house painted to the side of the curb? Who remembers that? So the poster knew where you had to go? I used to paint everybody's numbers on the side of their curb so the poster would know where they need to go and charge you $1 to do it. That was the best business I had. 100% profit. I loved it. Dad busted me stealing his paint and shut me down, and I put the business into administration. So that was my first, I think, court case, business administration, because Dad busted me. But that's when I realized I wanted to do something different. Car washing. Who washed cars when I was a kid? I was the best car washer, right? I would go $4 or $5, wash and vacuum cars. But the thing is, I was like 11 and making $20 on a Saturday. That's huge money when you're 11. And I didn't get pocket money. I got friends that got like $100 a week pocket money. I didn't get pocket money, none of that stuff. So I had to earn it. But this is the thing. I realized that I could only wash 4 or 5 cars, right? And I was stuffed at the end of it. So I got my mates. They washed them for me. I gave them $2.50, and I was at home playing my Atari. That's when I realized I could sit home, play games, make money, and I loved it. I was 11. That's when I realized business was for me. That was the next step. And really moving forward, these are some of the guys I hang out with. This is my lover fiance here. Jamie, you've seen him. Nick Halleck, and a few of the guys down there as well. So these are some of the people that form part of my life. Chris Howard, there's me in my car. Some of the people that form parts of my life as well. So really, I've spent the last 10 years really focusing on how I can help businesses, because I truly come from a space that I love to see businesses succeed. I get the goosebumps when I get an email or a phone call from a client that says, Aaron, I've just implemented your idea, or I've done this, and all of a sudden, wow, look at the change in my business. I really do. I love it, because that's what I like to see. You know, it's about you guys, and it's about giving you as much as I can. So that's enough about me. I'm now going to give you a whole bunch of stuff. So if you don't have a notepad and pen out, you need to get one out right now, because you're going to need to take a whole bunch of notes, because I want to give you as much as you can to use within your businesses. You ready for that? Ready for that? Okay. Before we get into it, what's happening? GDP. GDP. Put your hand up if you don't know what that is. Oh, very educated. We saw Harry Dent yesterday, that's why. Gross domestic product. Now, the Australian economy, unfortunately, this is our GDP graph in the last 25 years. In the early 90s, we had a bit of a blip back here you can't see. 2000s, 2008, and recently. What does that mean? In the first quarter of 2011, the Australian GDP, the GDP in Australia shrunk to the smallest contraction in the last 25 years. What does that mean for you guys? GDP is a measure of our economy. It's a measure of how good we're going as an economy. It thinks about consumer spending, government spending, imports, exports, everything. It's a gauge. I could show you other stuff that will give you more specifics, but this is used worldwide to gauge the economy of any country. What's our problem? Our problem is we're not growing. Whose bills have gone up in the last 3 years? Absolutely. I remember speaking to my fiance the other day going, is electricity that much? Are you serious? It never used to be. I remember when water, you could literally have a shower for 3 hours and it would cost you $1. Now, seriously, have you seen that? So everyone's feeling it. Everyone's feeling the changes in the economy. But the funny thing is, unless you really pay attention to what happens overseas or you've traveled, you don't get what's happening in the world right now. It is a massively changing economy. It's scary. I was in London in 2008 when that massive crash hit. I was working with a company there, and we're implementing a massive new multi-million-dollar development in the middle of Bank. Who's from London? Who's been to London before? A place called Bank, Financial District. I had an apartment in Canary Wharf, okay? In 2008, I watched 2,500 people like ants file out of Lehman Brothers when they closed it down. I was in London in 2008 when literally it was tumbleweed city. No one was there. So as an economy, we've not really seen that yet. Who agrees with me? Honestly, we've not really seen that yet. All right? We have houses that are worth 10 times in the States. Over there, it's tanking. Do I think it will happen here? I'm not an economist. But what will happen is we're going to get a little bit more scared, aren't we? Who's confident, be honest, who's confident in investing in anything? I don't care what it is, right? Let's property trading, whatever, in the stock market. Who's confident in going and buying any share for the next 10 years? $100,000, if that's all you had. Who would do it? 3 people in the room. Because up until a week ago, I would have put money into Apple, right? That happens. That's something that we can't affect. And the economy on top of that, it's something we can't affect. What happens if Facebook does their public, and all of a sudden goes public, and all of a sudden you invest into that, and then a privacy law changes, and that whole company has to change and be shut down? There's so many change happening in the world, from IT to the economy, that people are starting to go, I'm not too sure whether I can do this, do that. People are getting a bit more scared. Would we agree? People are a little more, I don't know what I should do. How does that affect your business? Who's seen a change? Who's seen a little bit of a downturn? Show of hands, really high so I can just gauge this. Who's seen a downturn? Keep your hand up if you've seen a downturn and your product is not a necessity to that person. Interesting, right? So what can we do about it? The thing is this, especially for the people that put their hands up there, then these are some of the things some of the article, I'll skip over that. I want to ask you a question. In this economy, and with what's happening right now, and with what you know about what's going to happen in the future, because the next 12 months to 5 years is critical for Australia. I'm not saying you can go out there and change what you do, but what I've said and what I started with is what? You've got to get good at every transaction. Does that make sense? You've got to get good at every single person that you meet with. You've got to really care about them and do what you can. And that's what I'm about. What you can do to change that. So moving forward, what does 5% mean? 5% more leads into your business. What would that mean to you? 5% more sales. 5% more raving fans. Isn't that a word we haven't heard about in a long time? Raving, do you remember those people? Do you remember those people? Those are the people that loved your business. Do you remember them? I've got a guy I still buy coffee from, right? He's the slowest barista you have ever seen. Ever. You know, there's one of those people that it's like literally like, takes him literally 15 minutes to make my coffee. But it's the best coffee you've ever seen. And he's so bluntly, he doesn't care. He says whatever he thinks. If he hates what I'm wearing today, if he hates something that's in the news, he just tells me. I have a good relationship with him. I really like him. I'm a raving fan of that man. How many people do you think I tell about that man? Have I just told 300 people about that man? I'm a raving fan of his. Let's get back to raving fans. We've got to get back to people going, I really like that woman that I dealt with the other day. I really like that guy that I dealt with the other day. But how can we go back to that? Make sense? That's what I want to talk to you about. But what is 5% more? 5% more referrals. Why referrals? Because they convert 5 times higher. How many? 5. 5 times higher than any other lead source. But sometimes as sales professionals, we're worried about getting referrals or as a business owner, because they might change their mind and not buy it, right? Hear it all the time when I go into businesses. So I've got a bit of a question for you. If it was 5% more sales as a business owner or as a sales professional, what would 5% more, who would be over the moon with 5% more sales in their business? Be honest. Be honest. Couple of people? Couple of people? Good, that's an honest response. What about if it was 5% every month on month increase? Who would be excited about that? Smart people. Why? If you earned $10,000 in your business, just $10,000 in your business, if you had a 5% increase month on month, every month, for the next 12 to 13 months, you would literally make $47,000 more. That's a 30% increase. Why do I show you that? Because it's about the small things. Like Al Pacino said in Any Given Sunday, it's the inches that we have to fight for as a business, isn't it? It's those little things that make up the bigger picture. So I want you to do a quick exercise for me now. I'm going to give you 20 seconds now to yourself. You don't have to share it with your partner. If in the last financial year you made 30% more, what would that equal to you? I'm going to give you 30 seconds now. 30% more in the last financial year. So if you earn 100 grand, 30% more is $30,000. Work that out really quick for me in your business or as a sales professional. Just give you 30 seconds now. Go. So 30% more. What does that mean? Let's be honest with yourself. Take your time to do this. 30% more. No one's going to volunteer, are they? Because they're going to work out how much I earn. Let's think about it. 30% more, 30% more. Oh, I saw someone cheat. No, I didn't. I won't say it. Okay, 30% more, what does it mean to you? Why do I want you to think about that? Because that's what's possible if you make a couple of changes. Remember, I'm not going to give you the secret to making $1 million in a day in sales. I'm not going to pretend that that's easy to do because that's hard and it takes time, doesn't it? But I'm going to teach you about the little things, the 5%ers. And please keep this in mind for the rest of this presentation when I really get into some content for you. Because really, 30% in a year, how much is that again? 30% in a year is how much per month? Just 5. Is that hard? Really, is that hard? 5%? 5%. Is that really hard? It's not. But if you can, and this is two words that really don't go together in sales. You ready for it? Sustainability and sales. Ever heard of those two together? Sustainability and sales? Because really it's hard for us to plot to some sustainability in sales, especially as business owners. Who sees this? Who goes to a brilliant, beautiful lunch? Oh, who has brilliant, beautiful Christmas parties one year and the next year you take your staff to Macca's? Who does that? Few people? Yeah? Yeah? We've been there. I remember my first business, I learned so much from my first business, it tanked, right? I thought I knew everything. Bad business partner, not enough capital, thought it would just come flooding in the doors, business would just come running into me. Did everything wrong, but it was great. I learned so much. Who's done that before? Who's done that? Who's put something online and just thought it would just, why wouldn't people buy it? Of course they wouldn't. It would just fly out the door. Who thought that was enough, right? And all these little things that we don't think about. It's the 5%ers. You need that whole thing to work, that well-oiled machine. Does everyone understand what I'm talking about? That well-oiled machine, that's what you need. But that little thing equals the big thing. Why do I tell you that? Because time and time again when I present around the world and I speak to people, they say, Aaron, give me a secret that's going to increase my sales 100% in a month. And I say, go get it yourself. 5% is what you need. Every month on month. Every month. Tell me something. I go to the gym every morning, right? I know you can see. If I went to the gym once, and you know those people, who goes to the gym? Who has a gym membership and never goes? My fiance has her hand up. You know those people that go to the gym and they go, and then they come back a month later, or 2 weeks later, they go, why are my biceps getting any bigger? Why? Because they go and they try. There's a few people laughing because they know it's them. Because it's the 5%. You've got to work your ass off. I'm sorry. You literally have to work your ass off, right? You've got to go to the gym. And this is the same thing in business. You've got to get good all the time at getting good at sales. All the time, right? You've got to practice. But it's the 5%. I hate working out in the morning. I hate it. This is me in the morning. I go to the gym. But then I get down there and I remember why I'm doing it, because it's the 5%. And then I feel shit when I don't go. I feel terrible. Don't you hate that? When you don't go for a day and you feel, I'm fat, I can't eat anything now, right? It's like a woman. Oh, God. No offense to women out there. So we've got to do this. We've got to do this. And you ready? I'm ready for this. I want to go into some content now. I want to talk about buyers. Buyers. Through all of the companies that I work with, there's certain types of buyers. Okay? Who agrees with me? certain types of buyers. This is the most common buyers that you find in businesses. These are the there's a lot that goes into this, but I'm just going to talk to you about the personality types, okay? Number one, assertive buyers. Write that down. Assertive buyers. Number two, analytical buyers. Write that down. Analytical buyers. Number three, negative buyers. I don't like BMWs. Well, then why are you in my BMW dealership? Timid buyers. Hi, I was just thinking about buying something. How much buyers? How much for cash? How much? How much? How much? Who's heard of these buyers before? Hand up. Hand up. People in the back don't have any buyers? Wrong room? Right room. Good. Hand up if you heard of these buyers again. Let me see. Show of hands. This is what I want to do. I want you to get out of this what you want to get out of this. So, I'm going to let you vote. I'm going to show you how to identify, because don't get me wrong, it's not as easy as you think. I'm going to let you identify and show you how to overcome or deal with these type of buyer personalities. Does that make sense? But you're going to vote. Show of hands who wants me to show them how to identify and deal with assertive buyers. Show of hands. Good. Show of hands, analytical buyers personality. Show of hands. This is going to be up to you guys. Analytical, okay. Negative buyer personalities. Oh, Jesus Christ, negatives. Timid buyers. Okay. And how much for cash? Wow. Do you want me to go back to my first slide about money and the GDP? How much buyers, right? Let's do it. So let's zoom to that slide. Let's go through it. I'd love to take you through it all, but this is what we talk about with what we do, but I don't have the time to do it now. I take my time to show you this. I don't rush this stuff and then go, okay, let me teach you how to build rapport with somebody, because that's all important. But if we don't, at the first connection, if he is a timid buyer or a negative buyer or an analytical buyer or an assertive buyer, and in the first 10 seconds, I don't work out what that is as the seller and deal with him accordingly, you're done. You're done. And anyone that tells me, and this is the biggest problem I see in businesses. Biggest problem. Put your hand up if you think you're the assertive buyer yourself, the assertive personality. Put your hand up. Biggest problem I have, stand up for me. Give a round of applause. Give a round of applause. Stand up for me. Biggest problem I have. She's an assertive buyer personality, right? This is the biggest thing I see. She only gets along with assertive buyer personalities. This is the biggest thing I see in businesses. Whereas who's a timid buyer personality? Who's a bit more of a timid person? Here, all right? So if a timid person comes along and is interested in the business, the biggest thing I see is that business owners, and you are sales professionals as well. Unless you have a company that turns over $100 million, you've got a massive sales team and a sales manager, and even then, you still have to know about sales. You are in sales. You are negotiating, you are persuading, you are influencing, you are in sales. The biggest thing I see is this. They don't change their personality to suit. Not that you've got to massively change your personality, but they don't adjust things a little bit. As you can see, I'm a bit of a visual person. I use my hands a lot, I'm a bit full on. So my timid person, hey, how you going? Welcome to Al's car dealership. How you going? Hey, how you going? Welcome. So what sort of car are you looking at today? Perfect. Is that better? Is that better? Is that better? Absolutely, that's better. Now, it's not about, don't pretend. It's not about you have to know. You don't have to know necessarily immediately. You've got to practice. I did something then instinctively. Write this down. I was unconsciously competent then. If someone's in sales, they'll notice what I did. I moved my chair to next to her, didn't I? And I spoke to her on the side. Why? Because I didn't want to be threatening. If I sat directly in front of you, even if I was nice to you, would you still feel threatened? Absolutely you would. I sat on the side, lowered my voice, put my inside voice on, and I had a chat to her, didn't I? Okay? And that's what it is. You've got to practice this. I'm unconsciously competent at that. and everyone can become part of that as well. Now, if you are the business owner, and I want to reaffirm this now, this applies to you. If you have a massive business with a massive sales team and a really competent sales manager, fine. But if you don't, this applies to you because you are the catalyst of change and vision in your business. Does that make sense? So you've got to make sure that you are training this through to your teams and they understand how to deal with these people. Who wants to see? Now, first of all, how much buyers? Biggest concern is price. Easy. They'll immediately want the price. They'll do this. Hey, how you going? What's your name? Tara, how you going, Tara? So you sell pens. Look, I know everything about this pen. I know everything there is. You can save it. It's fine. Just want to know how much it is. Anyone have those people? Know those people? Those people? Worst thing you can do. Worst thing you can do. Stick to your guns. Worst you can do is this. Who's seen this? I know we've all seen this. That's $3.99. Okay, thanks. I'll just come back to you. Who's seen that before? Hands up. Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Absolutely we have. Because they've worked it out. They just ask for a price and it's done. But the problem is this. If they don't understand the what, the what, absolutely the value, then that means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. I got really educated recently on diamonds. And when the jeweler said to me, I'm not going to get to show the ring, but when the jeweler said to me, this is $20,000, I went, what? I went to Secrets and they could do it cheaper. She got it valued. The thing is, do you think I walked in and they went, that ring there, yeah, it's 20 grand, no worries, what's your credit card? They went, Mr. Sansoi, come through, sit down in my leisure chair, here you go, would you like a glass of water, would you like a coffee? I had the whole works, right, the works. I got educated on crap I don't care about clarity. I don't care about inclusions, right? But they gave me a huge experience and all the girls are going, hee. I know, I got suckered in. It's true. But I had to learn all about this. But the value that they gave me was massive. It's so simple. Did that jewelry store have the tag? You know how they put the tag under the ring? You know, in the window? And everyone's doing this, trying to see the price of the ring. Right? They did that purposely. So I had to go in there, experience everything, so that I felt the value was right. Does that make sense? So you've got to stick to your guns with these people. The second thing is, write this down. I can't teach you this now, but there's something called deflective questioning. You've got to get good at that, especially now. Deflective questioning means that you can move from a price. So if someone asks you, how much, you know how to deal with that in a nice way without saying, I'll get to it in a minute, lady. I'll get to it in a minute, right? You need to deal with it in the right kind of way. You've got to learn that. It's a learned skill, deflective questioning. And I can teach you that, but that's a key part of how much buyers. Volunteers. Hand up, I need 2 volunteers. I'm going to choose you. Volunteers. I'm going to use the guy at the front because I've already pointed at him. Give him a round of applause. Yep. Here we go. One more volunteer. Come on, here we go. The one laughing about the diamonds. Give her a round of applause. Up the front. Here we go, up the front. All right, up on stage. Here we go. All right, give him a round of applause. Hey! I need something to sell. Give me a Gucci handbag. Give me something. Or maybe I need a shoe. Thank you. Give a round of applause for the shoe. All right. What was your name? Abel. Give Abel a round of applause. Steph and Abel. Here we go. Okay. Abel, you, my friend, are going to be the buyer. Okay? So you're going to be a how much buyer. Okay? Steph, you are going to be the seller. That's your shoe, and that's what you're selling. I know it's used. Don't tell anyone. Okay. Here we go. Now, Steph, have a look at the screen. Abel is going to be a how much buyer, and he's going to act in these kind of ways. His biggest concern is going to be price. So you're going to be in a shoe shop, you're going to be selling shoes, and this is how he's going to act. How you're going to deal with him is really, really simple, okay? It's what's on the side of the screen here. You've got to practice this. You've got to practice it, all right? you have to get good at this stuff because this happens all the time. Because he's going to walk in and want to know a price straight away, isn't he? Right? Isn't he?
How much?
How much? How much? Tell me. Cash. We've got cash. Right? You know those people? Love them. Right? And you've got to be able to deal with that. So I know I'll put you on the spot. We're going to see how we go. But I just want to see, how do we deal with this? How long have they got? How long have they got to get this right? Literally 10 seconds. Literally 10 seconds. Let's give it a whirl and see how we go. Here we go. Go.
Hey, just running past, I was just wondering how much those shoes are you've got there.
Oh, awesome. And have you been here before?
No, just sort of walking past, just going down. There's actually a shop down the road, but I just saw these on the way past and thought I'd have a quick look.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they're really nice, aren't they? They're actually fair trade, and they come from Nepal, a women's group that makes them. So they're really good quality.
Really? Okay. Yeah, but how much were they?
So these... just before I tell you the price, normally when customers come in here, we give them a glass of water and tell them about the quality of the shoe and how it's made.
Okay. Pause. Give it a round.
Cool.
Ask the price question again.
Just running past, I was just wondering how much those shoes were.
That's a really great question. Let me just tell you a bit more about the product and then we'll go through the prices. So this velvet comes from...
Give a round of applause. Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Back to your seats. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Give a round of applause again. Whose shoe do I have? Nah. Grab it, give it back. Take a step. Thank you. Whoa. All right. Okay, who got something from that? Hands up. I need to know. Absolutely. Okay. And that was a great job. And I taught Steph really quickly a deflective questioning. Really quickly. And did you feel able that she was being confrontational? Now the first time, it's just a reaction. Normally we would take someone in, sit them down, and you're telling him your process. He doesn't care about the process. He wants to know the price. See the difference? But how did she go? She went, good, yeah, really good question. Well, this is blah, 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 made in Italy, and it's nice and comfy, and blah, 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 $20,000 later, and you've got a diamond ring! Right? That's what happens. See the difference? But you've got to get good at this stuff. Even if you don't like it, you've got to get good at it, right? You've got to get really, really good at dealing with these sorts of people. Because let me tell you something. Men, okay, wanting to buy shoes, don't give a flying something where they buy it from. In their mind, cost, what's the cheapest? Is it her colours? And if she wore lingerie with it, would it look even better, right? That's what happens. Be honest with you. So, if that wasn't dealt with very quickly, what shop would have you gone to? Would he go, well, I'm just going to have to go over that one because that one... No, he would have gone next or... Shoes, how much? Can't deal with me? Next. How much? You know what? I don't care if you don't like those buyers. It's true, right? You've got to get good at them. You've got to get good at dealing with them. Not just you, but everyone in your business. Every single person that if I call your business now and someone picks up the phone, they better be sales trained. Because if I say, oh, trust me, and I do it all the time, I get some pleasure out of it, I'll call a business, speak to a receptionist, and do you know how many times they tell me the price of a product? Or how many times they tell me these details that only your trained sales representatives are taught? Because people fail to teach them deflective questioning, they fail to teach them so many things, and at the basis of customer service, it's sales skills, isn't it? It's persuasion, it's influence, and negotiation. All of those key things. Does that make sense? Everyone in your business. Show of hands, business owners that are sole traders. Hire. You're the sales professionals. You are the sales professionals. Show of hands of the business owners in the room that have 5 or more staff. Fantastic. Show of hands if you've got 20 or more staff. Couple? Great. 50 or more. 95% small businesses, right? Literally, if you do not have 50, 100 staff and like a full-on switched-on sales team that are really well managed, well engaged, you are looking after the sales within that team. And how easy is it, right? And this is what I don't get with some business owners, right? And I say this in the nicest possible way. They'll hire somebody. How often do we go into a retail store and that scenario happens? Because they pay somebody $1.50 an hour that stands there on their iPhone in the background. Someone walks in and, oh, that's not how we do it. Yeah, you've got to sit down and like have a coffee or something first, and bang, he's gone. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Because they're not engaged. And so often in businesses, I see business owners, and when I speak to them, and I say, what do you do? And their face lights up because they love what they do. But they fail to put that passion onto their staff to get them in. No, they tell them their passion, but they fail to get their staff to understand that passion. And passion is sales as well, isn't it? And they fail to get them to really get that and understand that and understand these sorts of buyers. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Good. So we've done a bit of a road test. Now I want to move on to objections, okay? I'm running a little bit behind, so we'll move on to objections. Who got something from that understanding buyer? Show of hands. Show of hands. Good. Who's going to use it and implement it and train their teams on it? Show of hands. Good. Okay, let's do it. Objections. Write this down for me. Learn to love objections. I heart, you know those ones? I heart objections, okay? Those t-shirts are everywhere. I got an I Heart Istanbul t-shirt the other day from a friend. I thought they'll only I Heart New York. There's going to be some IP issue with that. So I heart objections. Love objections, okay? That's really nice, but you know what? It's just a little bit too expensive. That's okay. I like it, but it's too expensive. That's what they're saying to you, aren't they? So write down the second point for me. An objection is an objection, not a rejection. Does that make sense? It's an objection, not a rejection. What's a rejection? Put your hand up if you've been rejected before in a bar. Don't lie. Don't lie. Don't lie. Hand up. Brave men in the room. Oh, I can see half the men have got their head down. Whatever. I'm good looking. I've been rejected. Okay. It's true. But I got it. Like, give a round of applause. Negotiation, persuasion, and influence. Got that one. Okay. So, it's not a rejection, okay? And sometimes as business owners, they say, especially if it's something that we've like built, you know, and it's our little puppy and that's our baby. And I see this sometimes. I was at Nando's the other day, overpriced chicken place, and I went there, right? And the guy, they stuffed up an order. The guy that owned the store, they stuffed up an order. But because he loves his business so much, he berated his staff member in front of me. Because he turned around, what do you mean? Right in front of me. And then he was like, look, this guy's pissed off. And he looked at me and I'm like, I'm pissed off. I want chicken, but I'm not pissed off. Right? Looking at me like I'm the asshole. You know what I mean? I was paying. He stuffed up my order. So because he's so passionate about, I know all these business owners are, because he's so passionate about his business, he was so, he forgot to stop and go, okay, all right. I need to just understand that there was an issue there and get the other person understanding why they're annoyed, because if what happens is if you lose this, how much it's going to cost me, because my chicken cost me $18 for a little thigh, and all that kind of stuff, right? He failed to let them know that. But he berated them. But it's these, what is it again? The what? The 5% in your business. These are the little things that I'm speaking to you about. The little things that make up a big business. Who agrees with me? The little things. What's the difference between, hi, welcome to ABC Company, and hey, how you going? Welcome to ABC Company, can I help you? What's the difference? 5% in sales is what's the difference. 5%. So you can't turn around to a staff member who stuffs up a chicken order or answers the phone in that way if you've not trained them properly or let them know what your vision is for your business and given them the time and the effort, because they're not embodying what you want them to be. Does that make sense? And this is where we need to make sure that comes across. So an objection, what is it? I'm going to show you something now. I could sit here and go, all of you put your hand up about price objections, didn't you? You all get price objection, price objection, price objection, price objection, partner objection, all that kind of stuff. What do we get? We get price objection. Write this down. Most common objections across industries. Price objection. Partner objection. I need to speak to my partner. I need to speak to my wife. I speak to my business partner. I need to speak to the guy next door. Time. I don't have enough time. Sorry, I'm busy. Or I don't have enough time to use your product or service. Who has a service? Hand up. Who's a business service, business owner? Great. Does it take time? Keep your hand up if it takes time to do the service. Well, you must get that then. I have enough time. Is that just a reaction? Is that just a reaction sometimes? What else do we get? Competition. Competition. Not just price, it's competition. Better service, better value, better staff, better branding, better quality service, loads of stuff coming. Does that make sense? Who understands what I'm saying? Beautiful. More information. We love those ones, don't we? Or think about it. Write those down. Write them down. Okay. Now, I know that you get a lot more specific ones in your business, but this is from all, I've been doing this for over a decade now, and this is generally what we get in businesses. So, because I've only got an hour, and the objections is so important, I have a whole module on this, because you've got to get good at this point. Don't get me wrong, okay? If you're great at everything along the way, you lessen that, don't you? Does that make sense? If you're good at your whole sales process, you really understand, you build a connection, I call it connection fibers with somebody, you build a connection with them, you get needs analysis, you understand what they're looking for, you qualify them, right? We don't want to spend time with people that don't want to buy our products or are not qualified for them. You go through all of these things and you get objections which happen, which are part of it. You've got to learn how to do it, because 45 minutes of a sales professional's time or your time as a business owner, you've got to be able to deal with these. And these happen when we're negotiating with a business transaction or when we're buying something, doesn't it? Don't we get objections all the time like that? I could do two things today. Remember, I promised you I was going to show you a formula, okay? I want to show you a formula for something. I'm going to give you an example. I went to buy a watch recently. I went to the same jewelry store that stole my $20,000. And I went and bought a watch. And I knew when I went to buy my Rado watch, I said, I reckon a couple of grand. All right, I love my watches. I'm not a big, jewelry person. I'm going to go buy a watch. In my head, I'm a guy, so in my head, I'd worked out how much I was going to pay for my watch, okay? Walked in, I knew I was going to pay a couple of grand for this watch. Walked in, the sales assistant showed me everything and said it's $6,000. I went, okay. What did I say to the sales assistant? Nope. What did I say to the sales assistant? I'm a proud person. Who's a proud person in this room? Hand up. Who's ever gone to purchase something that was out of your budget and gone, who's gone, shit, I can't afford that? That's 5 months' salary. I wish it was that easy. Who's gone, I'll think about it. Absolutely. Put your hand up again. Who's gone, I'll think about it. Okay, keep your hand up. Look around the room. Remember this point. This is so crucial, so crucial. Stay with me now. What happens next is that salespeople, and business owners included, they deal with that objection. Am I right? But is that my objection? But what do they try and do? Well, Mr. Aaron, come here. I'll give you the brochures for Rado. There you go. There's the watch bands. There's this. There's that. Shove everything down my throat. And what do? Thanks, bye. That's what I do. Because they've done their job, because they've dealt with my objection, but they failed to do something. And that's what I want to show you. I'm going to give you this as a gift from me. I cover this in massive detail throughout the Sales King Ultimate System process that we talk about. Massive detail. Because it's not just about dealing with the objection. That's the end part. Because if she stood there, as she did, for 20 minutes, giving me more information, I was in la la land going, right? $2,000, that's it, I'm paying. Look, I'm spending $6,000, no, that's 3 times what I wanted to spend. But she didn't deal with my what? My real objection. Make sense? Let me show you something. Pens on hand. Welcome to the triangle of objections. Draw a triangle on your page. Welcome to the triangle of objections. I'm going to show you in the next 5 minutes how to deal with an objection. Show of hands, okay? Show of hands. If my real objection was to do with more information, show of hands if you think you would be confident in overcoming that objection, if that was my real objection. Show of hands. If that was my real objection, if I said, literally, I just need more information, how confident are you? Show of hands. Hands up. Good. Show of hands how confident you are if my real objection was my real reason I wasn't buying the watch was price. I told you how confident you are. You'd at least be able to try and deal with that objection. Show of hands. Exactly. My point's this. Sales professionals, business owners, spend their entire time running in circles from objection to objection, from objection to objection, from objection to objection, constantly, right? And just when you think you've solved the objection, they go, okay, yeah, that's fine, but I want to think about it. And you've just gone, hold on, I thought you wanted more information. I've just given you more. Who does that? Who understands what I'm saying? Absolutely. Always, all the time. Because you've not done something. You've not understood the triangle of objections. So, how does it work? Surface objections. Surface objections, and it's going to differ within your business and within your industry. Okay? But this is pretty much how it works. Surface objections are the objections that they give at the beginning. Okay? Like, I need more information. I want to think about it. Does that make sense? Yes. Does that make sense? Hands up? Good. What our job is to do is to get to the core what? The core objection that we're dealing with. Because like what we've just shown, we can overcome the core objection when we know what it is, correct? Correct? And what's it going to do? It's going to save us time and energy, right? Because we know what it is. Some people come straight out and go, how much is that shoe? How much is that watch? Right? And we know straight away. But to get through the process, you ready? 3 steps. When I was zoom through this, because I'm running out of time. 3-step system. Who's ready for it? Show of hands. Show of hands. Show of hands. Not going to do it. Not going to show it. This has created millions of dollars around the world for people I've trained. Show of hands. Everyone else with their hand down, get out. All right, here we go. Number 1. Okay? Let's do it again. My watch. This is a bugger, by the way, because I've got to shine it every day. Okay. I want to think about it. Okay? Okay? I want to think about it. Clarify. Clarify. Okay? So my objection was, I want to think about what more information was, and who remembers that? Yeah? More information. Clarify. Okay? Ready? No worries. Aaron, and I hope you know my name by now if you were selling me the watch, by the way. Aaron, what exactly do you want more information on? Right? Clarify. Okay? Well, I want to just know a little bit more about we don't more, right? What do? We say, I honestly just want to think about it a bit because I've got to have a chat to my wife because she holds the money in her purse. Right? Now, remember this? Where might I be right now? Middle objection. Let's do it again. Okay. Clarify. Okay. Don't go anywhere. This is what people do sometimes. They do this. I'm going to speak to my partner. Okay. Here's some information for your partner. Take it home. Oh my God. Stay with me here. Clarify. Write this down. What exactly did you want to discuss with your partner? What exactly did you want to discuss with your partner? I am clarifying what they're saying to me. Another key point, if you sell anything that has multiple price point, and they say it's too expensive, and you go, oh, and you justify, and you don't know what part of the price they're talking about, you also get yourself in a world of trouble. Clarify. You know why? Because my time's important, your time's important. I'm not going to give you more information than you're going to say, I'm not going to run and chase you around. My job is simple. So you do sales and you do it with integrity. But your job is to help somebody as quick as possible, correct? Whose time's important? Absolutely, everyone's time's important. And you've got to respect that. So you want to help them as quick as possible, agreed? Who would love to do the same amount of sales in half the time? Who reckons if they do that, they'll be able to make double the sales because they've got more time? Absolutely, if you had more leads and you know how to do it. Okay, now, follow me here. Follow me here. I need to speak to my partner. Okay, what exactly do you need to speak to your partner about? Well, sales assistant. Well, we just have to talk about the price. Okay? That was a very sexy voice, wasn't it? Price. We just have to talk about the price. Step number 2. Isolate. Well, Mr. Sales Assistant. Isolate. You ready? Stay with me. Here we go. Aaron, is that the only thing stopping you from purchasing this watch today? Yes or no? Make sense? Now, I know the objection. I know the core objection. I can overcome the objection. Who's with me? Show of hands. Show of hands. Absolutely. You can overcome the core objection. But half the time, you don't know the buyer personality. You don't know the objection you're dealing with because they're not going to tell you. Because I'm a proud man. I'm not going to tell you I can't afford a $6,000 watch, even if I could, but I don't want to spend it, right? Because I had to buy a $20,000 ring. Seriously. 10% of a ring, I don't get a watch. This is my point. But now I know the core objection. Who thinks, I don't care what the core objection is, most of the time it's price though, who thinks that they can deal with it? Show of hands. Show of hands. If you can't deal with it, well then really your business is stuffed. Show of hands. Absolutely you can, because now you can overcome the objection. If you like that, give it a round of applause. All right, well done. That, I have just zoomed through, we do loads more on that, but that's just a bit. That's just a bit that you and everyone in your business needs to get good at. Everyone. Make sense? Okay. Good. So, so you understand, visual, more info, think about it. Then what did I say? I want to speak to my partner. And when do I arrive? Price. I'm going to give you literally 30 seconds because I've got to go through a couple of key points with you. And I want you to share with the person next to you what you just learnt, number 1. And number 2, what do you reckon your triangle looks like in your business? Go. 30 seconds. Go speak to... No, I'm going to have to do it. Yeah, just tell him. I'm going to get 5 minutes over. Tell him. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. That was good. Good. Was that good? Was that good? You learned something? Good. I like it. Here we go. Now, I've only got a little bit to go, but let me go through this. So, valuable. I'm about practical, say it with me, practical information you can use in your business. Okay? I'm not going to tell you to slash your prices because you'll sell more, or put a whiz-bang banner on your website because that'll do better. I'm just about practical information to maximize your business. Because at the end of the day, there's a big difference between you and the competitor. What is it? You. And one of the biggest parts of what we teach is called mastering the 5 C's. And it's the inner game. And I don't care if that's something that doesn't resonate with you as much as other things, but you've got to get good at this. I've had massive setbacks in my life. But I've had to learn how to deal with these, and I always have to on a constant basis. No one's perfect, right? But you've got to get good at this stuff. And part of what we teach you, and we spend a lot of time on this, we teach people and everyone in their business how to get good at the things that are on the inside. Because every time you wake up in the morning, and you might sell something really monotonous, right? Let's face it, right? But every time you wake up in the morning, you've got to have a reason why you're selling. A reason why you're in your business, okay? You've got to have a real reason for that. You've got to think about why you're doing it, what you need to do. You've got to think about how you're doing it. You've got to have the courage to go the extra mile. All those things that we have to do as business owners to really take that next step. And the 5 C's is the foundation of greatness. I don't have the time to take you through the 5 because once again, this is literally a huge module, but I'm going to teach you one thing and I'm going to do it in a really, really quick way. Conviction. Do you know when you meet those people that have absolute conviction about what they do? They might be selling, well, I remember key people, I went to Kennard's High. Who's been to Kennard's High before? You know what that is, right? I was borrowing some sort of drill or something. Dealing with a person behind the counter, and this person knew everything about, not just everything about the drill, loved their job. Shirt was crisp, engaging, had absolute conviction. Because part of conviction is the 7% of what we say. It's knowing the right words with my type of buyer to use. Understand what I'm saying? Follow me, hands up. What the words that we say. How we say it is the 38%. How we say our words. I'm a visual person. How you speak to me, different to an auditory, kinesthetic, all these different types of people, we have to know how to deal with them, correct? So, conviction is all about mastering these things. I don't care what background you have, what sort of personality you are. You can practice and get good at these things. You can work on these things. Doesn't matter about your age, doesn't matter about your level of English, it doesn't matter about your education. You can get good at these things if you want to. But you have to. You can't just be a product specialist. If you sell hair dryers, you can't just know everything about those hair dryers. You've got to speak with conviction. You've got to communicate with conviction. You've got to have physiology, 55%. 55%. My body language, my hands, my eye contact, my handshake. It's that physiology. Make sense? If I walked around on stage like this, hey guys, how you going? So we're going to talk about sales today. You like sales? Right? Physiology. You've got to be proud about what you do and have that absolute conviction. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? You absolutely have to do this. This is, I'll be honest with you, more important than anything else. Because you can get great dealing with objections, you can get great at understanding buyers, you can get great at everything. But if you don't get great at mastering the 6 inches between your ears, then you'll crack. You'll fail. You'll get under pressure as a business owner. When you're supposed to turn the computer off, you'll keep going because you just have to get stuff done. You'll play mental games. You'll have limiting beliefs. You have bad self-talk. All of these things that really go into it. You've got to get good at it. So this is what I want to do. I want to talk about passion and energy really, really quickly. Put your books down for a moment, and at the end of your aisles, there's an envelope. Grab your envelope and pass one down to the person next to you. Don't open them yet. Pass it down. I'm going to need. Okay. Stand up. Everyone's got an envelope? Okay. Shake it off. 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 Come on, let's go. Shake it off. Shake it off. Shake it off. Move the bums. Move the bums. Here we go. Passion and energy absolutely can change everything you're all about. Everything you're all about. And you don't have to sell rocket ships to think it's cool. You can be passionate and energetic about anything you wish, anytime you want. And right now, you're going to prove it to yourself. Pair up. Who's A? Who's B? Choose a partner. Really quickly, let's go. A and B. A and B. Choose a partner. If there's 3 people, it's fine. Okay, here we go. Who's A? Put your hand up if you're A. A. A? B's in charge. Okay. In a moment, you're going to open your envelopes. And whatever is in your envelopes, you are going to turn to the person next to you and you are going to sell that with absolute passion, absolute energy. You're going to speak about the features, the benefits, every single thing you can about what's that envelope. And you're going to do it like your life depends on it, with conviction. You're going to look in their eyes, lovingly, passion and energy, and you're going to do it for 20 seconds, then you're going to switch. Ready? Play full out, go! I need 5 minutes for myself. Is that good? I need 5 minutes for myself to take time. I need it for myself. More. No, what are you standing around for? What are you standing around for? What's in there? Do you have a toothpick? Do you have a tea bag? Do you have Mentos? Sell it! If you don't have passion and energy, your firstborn will die. Mike. Louder. Sell it. Passion. Don't stand around. Do it again. Do it again. Alrighty! Give yourself a round of applause. Alright. Here we go. Give yourself a round of applause, guys. Round of applause. Round of applause. Hands up in the air. Hands up in the air. Simon says, no, I'm joking. Stand up, stay up. Passion energy, guys. Some of you, that was so funny. Some of you, I've never seen somebody sell a toothpick like that in my life. The toothpick will make your teeth so white. Mentos. Who had a tea bag? Right? This is my point. I bet. Put your hand up if honestly you sell something that's not that exciting. Honestly, it's not really that exciting. There's a few of you. You can be passionate, and this is what I call the passion game. You can be passionate and energetic about whatever you want at any time that you want to. But you've got to want to do that. You've got to turn that on. And you know what? It does take a bit more energy, all right? Some of us are going, Christ. Right? It does take more energy, but this is the thing. You are the leaders in your business. And if you can't get good at those little things in your business, those passion and that energy in your business, and then you can't transfer that onto the people in your business, how do you expect them to perform every day? If you want to be a business owner, it's not about just counting the money, putting up the marketing campaigns. If you want to be a business owner, it's about being passionate and energetic. And if you do it long enough, this is the best thing about sales and business. You get good at this, and it affects who you are. You feel brilliant. Who feels good at the moment? Absolutely. And you sold a toothpick. Because there's little things that you did. And you can literally turn that on straight away. Does it make sense? You can literally turn it on straight away if you want to. But you've got to want to do that. Those little things. And that's one of the C's. Right? You're going to be puffed out after the other ones. That's one of the C's, conviction. And you've got to have that. Absolutely, you've got to have that. Does that make sense? Grab a seat. Okay. So what I want to finish on is this. What I'm all about is giving you something that you can literally have. And what I put together is, in the last 10 years, I put together me. in your business. Okay? There's only one of me. So when I used to do consulting and coaching, I loved it. I loved it. I love sitting. I've coached fish and chip shop owners that have been there for 20 years, right? And you walk in and they love it. The place is sparkling clean and they're just so proud of what they do. And then I've coached multi-billion-dollar companies, and they're different again. I actually like working with the small ones, I'll be honest with you, more, because I know where the profits go. I had one company I worked with in London, and this guy, because of what we did, not just me, because of what we did, he literally was able to send his daughter to Brown University in the States, and got a great, and that's the sort of things that I really love. And what I've put together is, because I believe that there's a massive gap in what we do in businesses. I believe we focus on accounting, I believe we focus on marketing, online, offline, I believe we focus on all of those things, but we don't focus enough on this, which really makes sense, which is getting good at sales. So I put together a program for you. This is what's in the program. I'm going to whiz through this.